Back to the violence of the riots, let's show you more about the 11 people now killed so far. David Dorn, a retired 77-year-old African-American police captain. He had served 38 years on the force, fatally shot dead by looters and rioters in St. Louis, Missouri. Also shot dead, David Patrick Underwood, a Federal Protection Services officer in Oakland, California. Also shot dead, David McAtee, 22-year-old Italia Kelly, 38-year-old Chris Beatty. He was a former offensive lineman for Indiana University. Also, Calvin Horton was shot dead, and James Scurlock, a 22-year-old black man. Again, 4 African Americans now dead. Also, at least 310 law enforcement officials injured, many of them seriously, many hospitalized. They've been shot at, bricks thrown at them. They've been hit with cars and other vehicles. Let's bring in and welcome back to the show, Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy. Senator, we love having you on the show. Senator, your reaction to what you just heard?
Yeah, it's awful. It shows you that the original peaceful protests have been infiltrated by criminals and by anarchists. We are with the peaceful protesters. We agree the death of George Floyd should not have happened. But to see this movement, if you will, corrupted by those who seek to kill others does an incredible disservice. We need to ignore the latter two and focus on the first.
Yeah, you know, people are trying to say that if you criticize the rioting, the looting, somehow that's criticizing the protests against what happened with George Floyd. That's not the case. The story is people are getting killed. Jasmine Kelly, 19-year-old sister of Italia Kelly, recorded a Facebook Live video. She's sobbing and crying, pleading for protesters and the rioters and looters to stop. She says, quote, "A protester shot my sister. You were so mad at the police that you were hurting everyone else." And David Dorn, that retired police officer shot in St. Louis, he was trying to protect his friend's pawn shop. 4 cops shot that night in St. Louis, 55 buildings, small businesses damaged and burglarized and looted. Your reaction to that?
Yeah, so Martin Luther King, obviously, I mean, iconic in terms of fighting for civil rights, spoke of the destructiveness of violence and riots, destroying property, self-defeating is how he described it. Wall Street Journal today article about how African-American businesses, mom and pops, have been destroyed and may go out of business forever. That is not positive for anybody, whatever your race, but certainly not for the community in which these rioters are most concerned, ostensibly. I would say, though, I don't think it is those who are protesting George Floyd, when the mayor of Atlanta, who spoke so well, says that if you're running down the street with a stolen Gucci purse, you're not protesting George Floyd. We know what she's saying. We're for the peaceful folks. We are against those who are the anarchists. We are against those who are the criminals.
About 310 law enforcement officials have been attacked, shot at, and hit by vehicles. Las Vegas police officer Shea Michelonis he was on life support. He's in critical condition. You know, they're making poor neighborhoods poorer. Now senior citizens, minorities can't get food, they can't shop, they can't get the drugs and medications they need because small businesses have been burned to the ground. Businesses owned and operated by African Americans and minorities. But, you know, Senator, celebrities John Legend, soccer player Megan Rapinoe, Jane Fonda, they're reportedly signing a petition to get the budgets for police departments cut. The New York Times also ran an op-ed saying that. Your reaction to that?
I cannot believe that. I look at my hometown, if you will, one of my hometowns, New Orleans, where the police are kneeling with the protesters in prayer in Jackson Square before the cathedral for divine guidance as to how to go forward. Now, this can be a partnership. The Capitol Police in Washington, D.C., in a sign of solidarity with the peaceful protesters, took a knee yesterday to signal that they did not approve of the death of George Floyd. It was wrong. We all know it. We need to work in common towards a better future. That's the way to go forward. Condoning, coddling the criminals and the anarchists is terrible for the community. Again, to quote Dr. Martin Luther King, and it's terrible for the movement to address the brutality and the racism that the peaceful protesters are all about.
Senator Bill Cassidy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Come back soon.